Hi, I'm Roy Huntington, editor of American Handgunner magazine, and welcome to my backyard just outside of Joplin, Missouri. I get a lot of reader mail about a lot of different topics, and one thing that remains pretty consistent is a little confusion about exactly how you sight in an adjustable sighted handgun. They're always a little confused about, well, if the bullet's to the right, do I move the sight to the right? Or if it's too low, do I move it down? Or do I have to bring the rear one up? Or what's going on? Well, let's demystify that, and it's really, really easy. You know, and before we get started, I want to remind you yet again, when you're fussing with the gun and adjusting rear sights and things like that, make sure that you clear it, make sure that the chamber's empty, make sure the muzzle's pointed in a safe direction, because you don't want to have your hands on the gun manipulating the sights and screwdrivers and being distracted with a loaded gun. So remember, shoot the gun, find the point of impact, unload the gun, make your sight changes, reload the gun, and then re-zero it. We just shot this gun and we found that it shot a little bit to the left. So what I'm going to do is take a proper fitting screwdriver and go ahead and actually physically adjust the rear sight, moving it to the right. So with a rear sight, what you want to do is always move the sight in the direction that you want the bullet impact to move. So in our situation, the bullet impacts were to the left of the bullseye. So I'm going to move the rear sight blade to the right. And how much is different gun to gun, and so you'll have to do a little experimenting. I like to move a little bit, test it, a little bit more, test it. We'll go ahead and change these sights, and then we'll reshoot and see what happens. Okay, we're done shooting, and let me explain what happened here. Here we have an adjustable sighted 1911. When I first aimed, I was aiming at the bullseye, but the bullets were striking right over here to the left. So then I knew I wanted to move the bullets to the right, so I had to move the rear sight blade to the right. Since I know this gun pretty well and I knew the range we were shooting, I guessed it was about 6 clicks or so. So I moved it over 6 clicks, and lo and behold, it actually did zero it really nicely. Don't be surprised if you go too far, you just have to move the sight back. Now the same thing applies if it's hitting high. You want to bring the rear sight down to move the point of impact. So remember, just be consistent, shoot consistently, take your time, shoot 3 or 4 shots at a time. But I promise you, it's very easy to properly zero your adjustable sighted handgun. I'm Roy Huntington, and thanks for tuning in.